I am Reed. I am 27, just an average dude. I've made tons of money mistakes in my 20s, and now I want to share everything I've learned to help you take control of your finances and your life. All right, let me start with something honest. I used to think working more hours meant I was a better person. Like if I was exhausted at the end of the day, I was doing something right. I would wake up early, crash late, and feel this weird sense of pride about how tired I was. And for what? I was broke. I was stressed. I could even tell you what I was working toward. I just knew I needed to keep going because if I stopped, I'd fall behind. Sound familiar? I've been rereading this book called Rest by Alex Sojong Kim Pong, and man, it hit me like a truck because I've been living the exact opposite of what it teaches for most of my 20s. The world tells you that the clever man works smarter, not harder, but the creative man doesn't work at all. And when I first heard that, I was like, what does that even mean? How do you not work at all and still get ahead? That sounds like a scam. But the more I thought about it and the more I looked at my own life, the more I realized I had it all backwards. Most people, including my old self, struggle to do good work because they work too much. Their mind is always running on empty, pushing down the road because you need to get to whatever destination you are heading to, but you don't even know where that destination is. You are just driving. You are stuck in what I call doing mode. It is this narrow-minded state that when left unchecked leads to that hot pile of stress in your chest that you can even find the source of. You know, the feeling, the one that messes up your time with people you love, the one that makes you forget how to appreciate the small stuff, the one where you can even think straight anymore. And here is the thing that really grinds my gears. People wear overwork like a badge of honor. They brag about how busy they are. Oh yeah, I've been putting in 60-hour weeks. Good for you. What did you actually get done? What did you actually build? Or are you just tired for the sake of being tired? Because I've been that guy and I can tell you it got me nowhere. Now let me smash a misunderstanding right here because I know some of you are already thinking it. I am not saying working long hours is bad. I talk about working less and having a 4-hour workday, but people read the title of my videos or see the headline of my newsletter and they don't actually watch the whole thing. They just assume I am saying never work hard. That is not it at all. What I am saying is that we no longer live in a world that benefits the individual who works 40 to 80 hours a week as a permanent lifestyle, as a repetitive eternal grind, not as an occasional thing when you need to push hard, but as your default setting. The world is shifting. We're moving from technicians to creators. Entry-level tasks are becoming senior-level tasks thanks to AI and automation. I talked about this a couple weeks ago in my Future of Work video. Technicians are going to get replaced or they're going to be forced to become creators. And what is the difference? Technicians work toward goals they are assigned. Creators cultivate a lifestyle that naturally results in the goals they choose. The ancient Greeks saw rest as a gift. As the pinnacle of civilized life, the Roman Stoics argued that you cannot have a good life without good work. Every ancient society recognized that both work and rest were necessary for a good life. One gave you the means to live, the other gave you meaning to live. And this is huge. People don't realize that work and rest are necessary counterbalances. If you go on vacation for too long, you want to go home and get back to normal life. You get tired of vacation after a week or two. Same with work, especially work you don't care about. If you go to work every day, 40 to 80 hours a week, you come home and you don't look forward to the next day. You just crave rest. So you are stuck in this constant cycle of dang, I need a vacation. Dang, I need to get back to work. Dang, I need a vacation. That is not the point of life. The point is to understand both work and rest and create a life where they don't feel like two separate painful things. My point is that you need to create these things yourself. You are never, ever going to find them in a job or something someone assigned to you. That doesn't mean all jobs are bad. Just use your brain. If you want to get things done, work. If you want to get the right things done, rest. And I don't mean rest like wine and bubble baths or margaritas on a beach. That is not real rest. That is distraction. Real rest is a necessity for creative work, the type of work that actually leads to a good life. It is counterintuitive, but rest is how you get 6 years of work done in 6 months. Let me prove it to you with a thought experiment. You have a 6-year goal of making $1 million. The low leverage way to achieve that would be to create a budget and stop buying $5 Starbucks coffees. Try to get a promotion or a raise so your income goes up by 10%. Calculate how much you need to invest each month in the stock market. Live below your means and pray nothing catastrophic happens to you. That is the path most people take. Now, I am going to say something that sounds insane to people who haven't started a business or broken out of the labor theory of value mindset where your time is worth a fixed amount. The question is, how can you achieve that 6-year goal in 6 months? Because if your goal is making $1 million the way I just listed is not going to get you there. First thing you have to realize is that it is possible. Step 1, if you can. Believe that you can go any further. People make $1 million in 6 months all the time. Many businesses make $1 million in a month, sometimes $1 million in a day. Especially on Black Friday, they pull in multiple millions in a single day. And I know someone's going to say, oh, that is revenue, not profit. I get it, but the point still stands. Step 2 is realizing you just don't have the knowledge and skill that makes it possible yet. You haven't sought new knowledge from places that actually teach you how to build something. Not school. School is not going to teach you this. Step 3 is truly understanding what it takes to learn something of this magnitude. It is a metric ton of failures until you can afford to succeed. I am not saying this will make you a million in 6 months for sure, but for the right person, it definitely could. And even if you use some of these lessons to make 50 grand, 100 grand, or even your first dollar, that is still a win. So here is the practical breakdown. First, set a big 6-month goal. Your mind needs a target so it can bias your education toward that goal. If you don't have the goal, your mind does have the filter to receive the information that would help you achieve it. Second, start a business. Yes, a real business. You need full control over the product, the audience, and the revenue. When you work for someone else, other people control those things. There is a marketing department, a sales department, an operations department. You only get a small piece when it is your thing. You control everything. Third, because of those two things, you are forced to think creatively about how to achieve the goal. Fourth, choose a business model that allows you to achieve that goal without sacrificing your interests. And fifth, find a way to multiply your income year after year instead of chasing a 10% raise on a 6-figure salary. If you are new to my channel, you may not realize that you don't need a super fancy business model to do this. Technology is a thing. Social media is a thing. We live in an incredible time. All the information is at your fingertips. One person with the power of the internet can spread content and products to anyone with an internet connection. Stop thinking about starting an agency or an e-commerce store. Start thinking about business principles. You need an audience and a way to monetize that audience. That is it. Technology created this beautiful new type of media. Media is how you attract an audience. Social media is where most of the attention is. You need attention if you want money. You can build a startup all day long, but if you can get users, you don't make money. Starting a personal brand or being what people call a content creator is how you attract an audience and sell whatever you want. But don't get trapped by that label. Content creator is just a narrow way of looking at it. Social media is not a Bible. It is a traffic mechanism. It is a way to get distribution. You put yourself online, people get attracted to you, and that becomes your distribution channel. Then you sell whatever product or service you want underneath it. You are already a business. You have value to give. You just don't know how to put yourself in front of billions of people online and get them to pay you. The internet is a necessary part of modern survival, so here's how I would build this. Study social media, but don't think it is the business model. Yes, you have to study it and practice it if you want to grow. Shocker, right? Post content on platforms like X or LinkedIn to build a quality audience. And for those who don't think LinkedIn is a good audience, that is where people with money hang out. They are more likely to pay you, and it is a blue ocean right now, plus no trolls, because everyone is scared of losing their job, which is another reason to start your own business so you don't have to worry about that. Then start a newsletter to keep and nurture that audience with longer trust-building writing, similar to what I do. Then if you want, repurpose that writing to all other platforms. This video started as a newsletter, by the way. If you want to start on YouTube, writing is how you start. If you show up to a camera and don't know what to say, it is because you didn't write it out first. As your audience grows, launch digital products and services, courses, templates, freelance coaching, whatever, things that let you build cash flow without spending your life savings. They are free to create. I didn't just start building my company with huge investment. I built an audience first. I built a cash flow business first, and you can honestly be happy with that. I know plenty of people who quit their big corporate jobs to run a one-person business and make way more profit even with less revenue. And you get to control how much you work. All you have to focus on is writing content 30 minutes to an hour a day to build the audience, then focus on the newsletter, then build the product once, and you are done with that part. If you wanted to decrease your work to 1 or 2 hours of just writing in the morning, you could totally do that. But some people don't find meaning in that repetitive daily routine. That is why I wanted to build a bigger company to take on more challenge and grow as a person. But for most people, starting out a one-person business is probably the best idea. Last thing, promote your valuable product or service to your audience in a systemized way. Let's say you have 0 followers and you write a post and it gets shared by someone with 100,000 followers. Now your audience on that post is close to 100,000 people. This is a skill. It is about building a network, learning to persuade and providing value to someone so they exchange it for their audience. That is how you grow. Now you have traffic from there. You promote your newsletter or your product. You write emails, nurture that audience, get specific help, people build trust. Then they actually want your product. That is why you buy anything, because you trust it and it benefits your life. If you stick with that for 6 to 12 months, iterate and improve on your process when things aren't working. I find it hard to believe you convert a fraction of that audience into buyers. Do the math on what that could mean for a $1 million goal. Of course, people with skill and practice will do better, so maybe have the mindset of I am going to try this for 3 to 4 years and then I can make $1 million in 6 months. But you have to start. Now let us talk about the 4-hour workday, because this is where it gets really interesting. Many of you know my 4-hour workday philosophy, which people misinterpret as, oh, you should just work 4 hours a day for the rest of your life. Number 4 hours is a mindset. It is an identity. It lets you identify problems so they can be solved so you can work less. If I identify as someone who works 4 hours a day and I actually believe that, then when I go over 4 hours, my mind identifies that as a problem. When I read the 4 Hour Work Week years ago, I thought, oh, that is possible. And I had a job at the time. I constantly saw that job as a problem to be solved because my mind wanted the 4 hour workday. Most people don't see their current lifestyle as a problem, so they don't notice opportunities. Do I always work 4 hours a day? But I work 4 hours a day the majority of the time, over 50% of the time right now. Used to be higher, but now I am building a startup and things pick up randomly. Soon when we launch it is going to be a lot more than 4 hours. But I am not going to unnecessarily fill my plate with things that don't need to be done just to say I worked more. Some people say, well, isn't there other stuff you could be working on to get ahead? Yes, but I have other areas of my life I want to work on too. I have fitness goals. I go to the gym every day. I do cardio 4 to 5 times a week. I pay attention to my nutrition and my mental health. I meditate. I take naps. I go on walks. I read. I do other things that need time, and all of that only benefits my work. So what makes me more progress working more on things I don't care about, or resting more and taking care of other areas of my life that will benefit my work? Minimalism is not about having less. It is about making room for more of what matters. It is about leverage. It is about letting go of things you think are bringing you progress but are actually slowing you down, like watching tutorials without actually building a project. I don't just watch tutorials. I find one I want to implement and learn by building along with it, focus on the few tasks that bring outsized results, and systematize, automate, or delegate the rest. If you work over 4 hours, your options are to systemize, automate, or delegate. If tasks spill over, delegate the ones you don't want to do. If they spill over again, systemize them or think of a new way to do them that gets better results. You are probably taking longer than you need to achieve your result, and you just can see a better way because you don't test and experiment enough. The key to growth is to not be okay with how it is going. How do you find those select few high leverage tasks? You are not going to find them by following the path your parents or teachers told you to follow. Step 1, choose the right vessel that lets you control all the variables. In modern day, that means an internet business. Step 2, study all perspectives and identify patterns and principles. Every online business builds an audience and monetizes it. Step 3, understand that work expands to fill the time allotted. So allot 4 hours, don't work more than that. Then identify problems that make you extend beyond that time and solve them with systematization, automation, or delegation. Then build an audience on the internet. I recommend content as the highest leverage. Then create a minimum viable product and start selling fast. As soon as you notice a problem like the first person not buying, start testing new strategies and iterate until you see results. That is why most people don't make progress. They write one piece of content, it does do well, and they say, oh, that is expected, I am a newbie. That is a problem. Why aren't you getting engagement? You have to learn more. You have to solve that problem. If you launch a product and nobody buys, what is the problem? You need to educate yourself on copywriting, landing pages, and funnels. You need the knowledge to identify the problem. It is a constant learning and experimentation process. When your content does perform, are you blaming the algorithm, or are you taking control and meeting people who can share your work?